Right now, as you watch this screen, your brain is constructing a complete fabrication. The colors you see don't exist. The sounds you hear are mere vibrations. The very moment you think you're experiencing has already passed. What if I told you that every single thing you perceive, every memory you cherish, every certainty you hold, is nothing more than an elaborate illusion crafted by the most sophisticated deception machine ever created? Your own mind. Stay with me for the next minutes, and I promise you'll never look at reality the same way again. Because once you see through the veil, there's no going back. Welcome, seekers of truth, to a journey that will challenge everything you think you know. I'm your guide through the labyrinth of perception, where shadows dance on cave walls and what we call reality might be the greatest story ever told. For millennia, philosophers have whispered about the nature of existence. Scientists have peered into the quantum realm only to find more questions than answers. And mystics have spoken of worlds beyond the veil of ordinary perception. Today, we're going to weave these threads together into a tapestry that reveals the profound mystery hiding in plain sight. But first, let me ask you something. Look around you right now, touch the surface nearest to you, feel the weight of your body, hear the sounds surrounding you. How certain are you that any of this is real? How do you know that you're not dreaming right now? How do you know that you're not a brain in a jar being fed electrical impulses that create the illusion of experience? These aren't just philosophical games, they're gateways to understanding the deepest mystery of existence, the nature of reality itself. Let's begin with the most fundamental deception of all, your senses. You trust them implicitly, don't you? Your eyes show you a world of vibrant colors, your ears fill with symphonies of sound, your skin feels the caress of the wind. But here's the unsettling truth: none of these experiences exist outside your mind. Color is perhaps the most beautiful lie your brain tells you. When you look at a red rose, you're not seeing red. You're seeing electromagnetic radiation with a wavelength of approximately 700 nanometers. There is no red in the universe, only wavelengths of light bouncing off surfaces. Your brain, in its infinite creativity, transforms these wavelengths into the rich emotional experience you call color. But it goes deeper, much deeper. Your eyes can only detect a tiny sliver of the electromagnetic spectrum, less than 1% of all the light that exists. You're essentially blind to the vast majority of reality around you. Infrared heat signatures, ultraviolet patterns, X-rays, gamma rays, an entire universe of energy surrounds you at every moment, completely invisible to your perception. And what about time? You experience it as a flowing river, carrying you from past through present into future. But physics tells us a different story. Einstein showed us that time is relative, that simultaneity is an illusion, that past, present, and future exist as one eternal, unchanging block. The flow of time you feel so viscerally? It's a construction of consciousness, a story your brain tells to make sense of existence. Even more disturbing is the realization that you're always living in the past. Light takes time to travel from objects to your eyes. Sound waves take time to reach your ears. Neural signals take time to travel from your sensory organs to your brain. By the time you process any sensation, the moment that created it has already vanished into history. You're perpetually experiencing echoes of a reality that no longer exists. Your brain, desperate to create coherence from this chaos, fills in gaps you don't even know exist. You have a blind spot in each eye where your optic nerve connects to your retina, but you never notice it because your brain seamlessly patches over the missing information. You think you see clearly across your entire field of vision, but only a tiny area at the center of your sight is actually in focus. The rest is a blurry approximation that your brain sharpens through assumptions and educated guesses. If the present is an illusion, what about the past? Surely your memories are real. They're the foundation of who you are, the evidence of your experiences, the proof of your existence. But prepare yourself for another unsettling revelation. Your memories are perhaps the most elaborate fiction your mind creates. Every time you remember something, You're not accessing a stored file like a computer. Instead, you're reconstructing the memory from scattered fragments, piecing together emotions, sensations, and narratives that feel authentic, but may bear little resemblance to what actually occurred. Each time you recall a memory, you change it slightly, influenced by your current mood, recent experiences, and unconscious desires. This means that your most cherished memories, your first kiss, your childhood home, the day that changed your life, are constantly evolving stories rather than faithful records. You are both the author and the audience of an ongoing autobiography that rewrites itself with each remembering. But it gets stranger still. Research has shown that it's possible to implant entirely false memories that feel completely real to the person experiencing them. People can be convinced they remember getting lost in a shopping mall as a child, or witnessing events that never happened, or meeting people they never encountered. If false memories can feel as real as true ones, how can you be certain which of your memories actually occurred? Consider this. You have no direct access to your past self. The person you were yesterday is gone forever, known to you only through the stories your current self tells about them. The child you were, the teenager you were, the person you were this morning. They're all characters in a narrative constructed by your present consciousness. You are, in a very real sense, a collection of stories believing themselves to be a continuous self. And what about the future self you're becoming? That person doesn't exist yet, but they're already influencing your decisions, your hopes, your fears. You make sacrifices for someone who may never exist, someone who, if they do come to be, will be a stranger to your current self, seeing your present through the distorting lens of memory. Now let's descend into the rabbit hole of quantum mechanics, where reality reveals its most profound secrets and deepest mysteries. Here, at the smallest scales of existence, the very notion of objective reality begins to dissolve. In the quantum realm, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. An electron can be spinning clockwise and counterclockwise at the same time. A photon can pass through two slits simultaneously. These aren't just theoretical concepts. They're experimentally verified facts that challenge our most basic assumptions about the nature of existence. The famous double-slit experiment reveals something extraordinary. When quantum particles aren't being observed, they behave like waves, creating interference patterns that suggest they're taking multiple paths simultaneously. But the moment you try to observe which path they take, they suddenly behave like particles, choosing a single path. It's as if reality itself depends on consciousness, as if the universe exists in a state of infinite possibility, until awareness collapses it into a single actuality. Some interpretations suggest that every quantum measurement creates parallel universes, each containing a different outcome. In one universe, you chose to watch this video. In another, you didn't. In countless others, infinite variations of your life play out in ways both subtle and dramatic. If this is true, then the reality you experience is just one thread in an infinite tapestry of possibilities. But even more mind-bending is the concept of quantum entanglement, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. Two particles can become entangled in such a way that measuring one instantly affects the other, regardless of the distance separating them. This suggests that at the deepest level, separateness itself might be an illusion. Everything in the universe may be fundamentally interconnected in ways that transcend space and time. What does this mean for you sitting here watching this video? It means that the boundaries between yourself and the universe, between observer and observed, between mind and matter may be far more porous than you ever imagined. The quantum field that underlies all reality doesn't distinguish between what's inside your skin and what's outside it. You're not a separate observer looking at an external world. You're a temporary pattern in the infinite dance of quantum possibility. Now we venture into territory that sounds like science fiction but is taken seriously by leading philosophers and scientists. The possibility that all of reality is a simulation. The argument is elegantly simple and deeply unsettling. If it becomes possible to create realistic simulations of conscious beings, and our rapidly advancing technology suggests it will, then rational civilizations would likely create many such simulations. This means that for every real person, there could be millions or billions of simulated ones. Statistically speaking, you're far more likely to be one of the simulated beings than one of the real ones. But how would you ever know? A perfectly designed simulation would be indistinguishable from reality. Every sunrise, every conversation, every emotion you experience could be lines of code executing in some unimaginably advanced computer. Your entire life history, your relationships, your dreams and fears, all of it could be subroutines in a vast digital experiment. The evidence, when you look for it, is tantalizing. The universe seems to have computational limits. Maximum speeds, minimum distances, discrete units of energy. These look suspiciously like the resolution limits you'd expect from a simulated reality. Reality appears to be pixelated at the Planck scale, as if it's running on a cosmic processor with finite computational power. Even if you're not in a digital simulation, you're certainly in a biological one. Your brain is a simulation machine, constantly creating models of reality based on limited sensory input. The world you experience is always a simulation. The only question is whether it's running on wetware or hardware. But here's the truly mind-bending possibility. Even if you are in a simulation, the experiences you're having are still real to you. The love you feel, the beauty you perceive, the meaning you create, these aren't diminished by being simulated. In fact, if consciousness can arise in silicon as easily as in carbon, then simulated beings might have richer, more varied experiences than their real counterparts. This leads to a profound question. If the simulation is perfect, if the experiences are genuine, if the relationships are meaningful, does it matter whether it's real or not? Perhaps the distinction between simulation and reality is itself another illusion, another category that breaks down under careful examination. We've journeyed through the illusions of perception, memory, quantum reality, and simulated existence. Now we arrive at the deepest mystery of all, consciousness itself. What is this strange phenomenon that makes experience possible? What is this inner light that illuminates the theater of your mind? Science can map every neuron in your brain, track every electrical impulse, measure every chemical reaction. But nowhere in this biological machinery can we find the experience of being you. Consciousness seems to be something over and above the physical processes that create it, an emergent property that transcends its components. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. In you, cosmic dust animated by starlight has somehow learned to contemplate its own existence. You are both the observer and the observed, the knower and the known, the dreamer and the dream. But here's the deepest mystery. You can never step outside of consciousness to examine it objectively. Every thought about consciousness is itself conscious. Every observation of awareness is made by awareness itself. It's like trying to see your own eyes without a mirror, or lift yourself off the ground by pulling on your own bootstraps. This creates a profound paradox. The one thing you're most certain of, your own conscious experience, is also the one thing that remains utterly mysterious. You know that you exist as a conscious being, but you have no idea how or why this is possible. Perhaps consciousness isn't produced by the brain, but rather detected by it, like a radio receiving cosmic broadcasts. Perhaps it's a fundamental feature of reality, as basic as space and time. Perhaps every particle, every quantum field, every mathematical structure has some primitive form of experience associated with it. If this is true, then consciousness isn't confined to biological brains, but permeates all of existence. The boundary between conscious and unconscious, between animate and inanimate, becomes another illusion to be transcended. So here we are, at the end of our journey through the hall of mirrors that we call reality. We've seen that your senses deceive you, your memories rewrite themselves. Quantum mechanics suggests reality depends on observation. You might be living in a simulation, and consciousness remains the deepest mystery of all. Does this mean everything is meaningless? Does this make life less significant? I would argue the opposite. These revelations don't diminish the wonder of existence, they amplify it. They reveal that reality is far stranger, far more mysterious, far more beautiful than we ever imagined. Yes, everything you see might be a lie in some sense, but it's a lie that contains profound truths about the nature of existence. It's a lie that has produced love, art, music, poetry, and the capacity to contemplate its own mystery. It's a lie that dreams of truth and in dreaming creates meaning. You are not just a passive observer of reality. You are an active participant in its creation. Your consciousness doesn't just witness the universe, it helps bring it into being with each moment of awareness. The deepest truth might be that there is no final truth, only endless depths of mystery waiting to be explored. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful revelation of all. Keep questioning, keep wondering, keep seeking. The mystery is just beginning. What aspect of reality do you find most mysterious? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this journey through the illusions of existence resonated with you, consider subscribing for more explorations into the deepest questions of philosophy and science. Until next time, remember, the mystery is always deeper than it appears.